And we welcome you into the Pierce Sports Center here in San Bernardino, California for our third NVA Cup quarterfinal here on day one of the NVA playoffs. Ira Thor alongside Nick England, who will be not with us for the final match today because he'll be on the sideline coaching Las Vegas against the Ontario Matadors. But let's get at this one. A great matchup between Team Freedom and the Utah Stingers, the defending 2020 NBA Cup champions. A match that early on, maybe 5 matches through the year, looked like it very well could be a potential championship match preview, and we're getting it here in the quarterfinals. Each team missing some pieces. A big missing piece for Team Freedom is Chris Nugent. Couldn't catch a flight out here with bad weather out east. Jake Langlois has returned after the last event with Utah, and he is absolutely carrying them right now.
Yeah, he was out that first day, had to get some work done at the hotel room, finished out Saturday and Sunday with them. They'll also be missing in the middle Rusty Lavaya, who is at event number 1, has not been able to make his return. Do want to say a quick shout out, just had a baby, so love to see more volleyball players getting added to the NVA pipeline. There it is. So if you're at home watching your boys, congratulations, Rusty. Happy for you guys, and hopefully the Stingers can get it done for him on the court without him. But this is going to be a big one. We're seeing the Utah Stingers, the number 3 in the American League. I think surprised a lot of people to say that statement, facing off against the number 2 seed in the National Conference, and that is Team Freedom. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Team Freedom, when you typically talk about them, they're one of those teams that you see Joe Norman be one of their major offensive leaders, but they're so spread out in a diverse amount of offensive threats, where then you look on the other side across the net at the Utah Stingers, and it is an outside hitter show. Jake Langlois, Storm Fa'angata Tufunga, as well as Anovo Romero, both of those guys just absolutely hammer balls. So it's going to be interesting. I think that we're going to see the combination of Jake and Anovo, if I'm not mistaken. And that's just going to be an interesting one to see how it comes out. Also, you'll see on the right side there, Jorge Mencia, one of those guys that doesn't quite explode the same way anymore. But if you watch his stat line, it is always very impressive. Minimal errors, a lot of kills, and always at the right time. So we're going to have to watch that. Now, Utah Stingers have a history of starting a little slow. So it's going to be a question of how do they get going and how quickly do they get going. On the other side, Team Freedom, they are the kings of 5-set matches. The last time these two teams played was Atlantic City, where Team Freedom took Utah Stingers down in 5 on their home court weekend. So, we're going to have a little bit of a throwback, see if Utah Stingers, who were missing some key pieces there, see if they can answer back nicely in this one here.
We'll see how the addition of Jake Langlois for the Stingers and the subtraction of Chris Nugent for Team Freedom calls this match out. Again, the number 2 seed, Team Freedom, their team going in the opposite direction, Nick, as they, after a 5-0 start, have lost their last 4. I think all but one went to 5 sets. Of course, that has been minus a lot of pieces. They're getting Chris Vaughn back in. He got hurt midway through that event in Atlantic City, and this is his first action in more than a month. We mentioned they're without Chris Nugent. Replacing him in the starting lineup will be Josh Castillo, who also didn't make the trip out here in June. So 2 new outsides getting the look here. First time they've had a chance to work together. Matt Elias will be at the center for Team Freedom. He wears number 4. In the middle today will be Matt Seifert, the big offensive and blocking weapon, wears number 12, along with Mikael Zebra-Hoyt wearing number 11. Joe Norman, the number 5 scorer in the NVA with 80 total points on the season, is on the right side. And then John Cunningham is the libero for the Stingers. They get Leo Durkin back in. He was not here for their last event a little bit over a month. Actually, it was less than a month ago. It seems like a lot more longer ago. But Leo Durkin's back in at center. And Utah's an interesting squad because they have a number of different options at center, but Leo Durkin is arguably the best setter in the league.
Yeah, he certainly can make a case. In the middle, you've also got Alex Shmolyov, as well as I believe it's going to be Phil Fuchs opposite of him. And then we see Clark making his debut as a libero here, though. Take it away.
Yeah, we are underway, and Clark does get to start at libero in place of Kai Duquem, and they immediately target him, and that's put away for Castillo to get us going as Team Freedom grabs the early lead. Team Freedom, one of 2 East Coast teams remaining, with the Southern Exposure advancing to the semifinals.
And also, apology, a quick quick adjustment. I said Phil Fuchs. It's going to be Corey Metcalf in that second middle spot.
And before that, we have an ace for Elias who drops it in. So Team Freedom off to a quick 2-0 lead. As we play here in our third quarterfinal, stay with us because at approximately 7 p.m. Pacific, that's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it'll be our final match, Las Vegas taking on the home court Ontario Matadors. That'll be an exciting one. Stay with us for that as well. As Utah gets in on the action, their first side out, and back to serve will be Alex Shmelyov. Castillo with the serve in the middle, tipped over by Seifert. And that's going to be poked deep by Mencia. Chance here for Freedom to run something in transition, right side. And it's going to be a block for Metcalf, who gets it. And we're even at 2 each.
Looked like there was a bit of a net on that play. At least I saw one, but you got to play the whistle there. And Utah, whether they got a lucky break or not, that's going to be up to the refs to discuss. And they're having a little conversation right now. All three down refs are beckoned in. You can see Chris Vaughn over there and Jake Langlois as well. If there was a net, I believe it was on Langlois' left arm coming up for the block. So we will see how that goes. Ball was deemed out, no net, and Team Freedom needs to make sure they just keep it dialed in. And it's early on, no reason to get distracted now. So 2-2 is the final count. Alex Shmelyov back to serve.
Of course, we don't have replay capabilities this year, something that we are looking to add for future seasons, as that deep floater is too deep. Side out, Steele will serve.
You'll hear the favorite of every volleyball player ever, ball never lies, as that one goes long.
So Castillo, who played his college volleyball in North Jersey at Ramapo College. Him and Bezar Slani are probably your two other options, with Nugent out, and Castillo gets the start and is dumped to the court by Romero.
That was Langlois getting a big kill over the top.
Langlois.
Yeah, Langlois there. And so I was going to take a moment to talk really quick about what you're going to expect to see if you're a fan. So first of all, Jake Langlois, 6'10", 6'11", outside hitter, has spent a bit of time after his career at BYU playing with Team USA. But what he really loves doing is you're going to see him hit a lot of sharp angle, and when someone blocks that, you'll see him get those high power tips that go straight down over the block, as he did there.
And Vaughn misses that one wide. That's why you got to see Justin Beaumont, the owner of Team Freedom, and one of their coaches having a conversation with Patrick Bradley, our down official. And there you see on the other sideline, Coach Mike Daniel for Utah Stingers. As his squad comes in with 5 wins on the season. A little bit of trash talking going back and forth between the benches, all in good, clean fun here. It is quite warm, by the way, here in the gym. It's 102 degrees outside right now in San Bernardino. The air conditioning can barely keep up, as that is put away by Seifert. So we saw in the last match a lot of stoppages anytime somebody hit the court, just because of just the amount of sweat you're going to have on a day where the AC inside cannot keep up, and we'll see how that becomes a factor. But if we're sweating here just sitting courtside, and of course we're drinking a hot coffee, that's not going to help things.
Nope, but it's keeping us dialed in here as this play is under the way.
Romero off the block. Actually, it's Jorge Mencia,
yeah,
I apologize.
Mencia.
Jorge Mencia, that's his 3rd kill. Correction, it's his 2nd kill. As I wrote one in the Jake Langlois column that belongs to him. But either way, Utah with the early lead. Now Langlois with the deep serve. And while he misses that at 6'10", his ability to create points from anywhere in the court certainly is going to be an X factor. I think you can make the case that Langlois, we talked about Durkin being the best setter in the league. Langlois, I think, for all intents and purposes, is the best all-around player in the league.
Yeah, he's certainly the most experienced, and while you might see the top scorer being in Brandon Rattray, there's an interesting conversation to be had as what do stats say and what does experience say. Jake Langlois has played on some of the top, top floors and stadiums in the world, where Brandon Rattray, a couple years younger, hasn't quite hit that yet. He'll be heading over to the Netzhoppers in Germany next year in the Bundesliga to get some more experience. But I agree with your take on that. I think Jake Langlois is just one of those unrivaled experiences and a pleasure to watch here in the NVA.
And that's obviously no disrespect at all to the town of Rattray. It's just the fact that Langlois, speaking of young players, yeah, he might have more experience, but he's still relatively new to the game. For those who don't know his background, he didn't play before he got to BYU. He kind of almost walked on.
Yeah, he had about an 8-inch growth spurt between high school and college. Got to BYU and said, I'm going to keep trying out for sports teams until I make one, and made volleyball as a blooming 6'10". Spent time on the team with Taylor Sander and Ben Patch from the USA team as well, and that's where he picked up the ability to play the sport at a very high level. So props to him as an athlete, and a great pleasure to see here live.
I've had an 8-inch growth spurt, but that's, parallel.
On the waist?
Yeah, waist-wise, going from the 30 to the 56. That's just kidding. I haven't put on that much weight during COVID, but that is off the block, and Utah with the side out. Chance here for Team Freedom. They go back to Castillo, high hands. In response, clipping the antenna. DeMero was looking to go down the line and just couldn't cut it past that block. And Utah sees Team Freedom even this one up at 7 apiece. And what was interesting, by the way, about Langlois is he was a soccer golfer. Those were his sports, completely unrelated to volleyball. But
man does it all.
He had the family connection. As Shmelyov was able to stick that one through for his first kill, and the rest is history. Jake Langlois is one of the great success stories you'll ever find about somebody picking up a sport later in their athletic career and going on to the world stage.
And one of those interesting things to keep track of here as this match goes on is the middle matchup here. Both of these teams rely on their middles, but more traditionally in a blocking and defensive sense. To see Alex Shmelyov put such an authoritative swing down there is a good look for him, and something I'm going to keep track of throughout this match of who's doing what and how are they scoring.
So even at 8-all, Elias will serve. Good pass for Utah by Clark. It's going to be tipped over. Chance for Freedom. Right side, Norman. And off of the outstretched hands of Mencia for the put away. Joe Norman gets in on the kill action for the first time. Such an important weapon for Team Freedom if they're going to have a chance in this match today is his production, especially without the second experienced outside hitter, Nugent, being home. For those who aren't aware, there's the tropical storm Elsa, not from the Frozen movie, hit the East Coast, and a lot of flight cancellations in New Jersey and the entire Mid-Atlantic. Tipped over off the tape, and not enough reaction. Durkin will get the point.
One interesting thing, as an outside hitter, Jake doesn't just rely on his overall size and aggressiveness. Watch the difference in tempos and speeds. You'll see him take that first ball there, gives a pretty quick pass to Durkin, and they run that little bit of an inside set. They're going to run a variety of stuff that moves him around, and it just keeps changing the attack angle. So similar to the way that Grasso from the Tyrants as an outside runs his routes, expect to see something similar here for the side of the Stingers as Shmelyov is back to serve.
Shmelyov, the Russian, over on one, pushed right back by Langlois. Did he go over?
No. Ball was on the plane of the net, so as long as that ball is over the net at all, even if it's 1%, then that ball is fair play. Jake Langlois, an experienced guy, waiting for that to breach the plane of the net, throws it down, point for the Stingers, 1 point lead now.
Talk about the patience of Langlois, Nick, to be able to have that experience and know when exactly to leap, not have the violation.
That ball is well outside. I understand the desire to be aggressive there, but I would like to see Josh get his feet around that ball. I'm sitting directly behind his approach line there. He's got a very manageable angle that he can send that one over to the sharp angle. I think that the swing is not the answer.
Yeah, no need to swing there when the ball was that maybe 2 feet outside the antenna. No chance to keep that in play. And that is just long. Error by Utah. And the side out goes back to Team Freedom, down 1. So it'll be Castillo to serve. Good serve defended there by Romero. And off of the hands, Corey Metcalf with the kill. So Utah leading by 2, 4 away from our first timeout of the match. And we'll see Leo Durkin, 6'4", out of Las Vegas, your server. They go outside, Vaughn swinging away. And it looked like a double, non-call there. They go back to Seifert, and he gets the result after all.
So what was really interesting, what happened there is the ball goes over, hits Clark digs it, but it hits Langlois' right outstretched hand for the second touch, and that allowed Clark to get the third touch and send it over.
It was an optical illusion more than anything.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't, given where we are on the court. Sometimes you can see those easy, sometimes not so much, but that's why we're here.
That's also what Team Freedom did not see, which is why they had the argument. That is off the antenna, so that's going to be an ace for Team Freedom by Seifert to even at 12 apiece.
Right now, a lot of pressure coming through from the serving. That's 2 aces so far logged for Team Freedom.
Seifert looking for his second in a row. Goes deep again, keeps targeting Nova Romero, and then unable to be kept alive. That's Jorge Mencia with his second kill. (13-12). Jake Langlois back to serve for the second time. And you're going to see a lot of this. We talked about the temperatures outside. Only half a set in, and these guys are already absolutely drenched.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things that we always talk about, how to game the game, and that's going to be one of those things you can use to help slow the game down if a run starts happening the opposite direction. But right now, no run being established. 13-12 for Jake, a 1-point lead for the Stingers.
Right now, it's just about survival. This is what happens when you play in the desert. That looked like it clipped the antenna. So it'll be a side out and a point for Utah on the attack here by Norman. And they lead 14-12.
Right now, the antennas are not the friends of either one of these teams, finding it on a couple of their attacks. So see if they can start to shore that up.
Cunningham with the pass. Elias goes outside looking for Vaughn. And that's put down. Hands of Mencia, and Metcalf with the block.
A lot of credit to Metcalf there, someone that is not traditionally a starting middle on this team, but has spent the better part of the 2021 season in the starting lineup in the absence of Rusty Lavaya, as we mentioned earlier, doing a great job there, getting all the way out next to Mencia and shut that swing down early. Vaughn coming off of it was a pretty heavily sprained ankle at event number 2 in Atlantic City. So this is his first event back after taking event number 3 off. There was a short 2 to 3 week gap between the two, so no surprise he missed out on event number 3, but he is back and ready to see what he can get done.
And Zebra misses just wide, and 3 in a row. And Utah, well, there hadn't been a run until now, but they lead 15-12. That makes it, now they call timeout.
Oh, it is 16.
It is 16-12, we apologize, as it took a little second to get the scoreboard up, but 16-12 will take us to our first technical timeout. We'll come back. More for game number 1 coming up.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
Ira Thornton, Nick England, courtside here in San Bernardino. 2-time All-American Matt Prosser will be on the sideline, bring us some insights throughout this 3rd quarterfinal of the day. We got 2 semifinals tomorrow, and then, of course, the third place and championship match coming up on Sunday. One of these teams will advance. One of them will have their season end a little earlier than expected. And Chris Vaughn trying to prevent that happening to Team Freedom as he puts it away.
Little
Way
nod.
to respond coming out of the timeout, by the way.
Little nod in the chat to Chris Vaughn's alter ego, Tony Bronzer, as he's known in some circles on the East Coast. Glad to see he's back in the rotation here for these guys. If you haven't already, post up in the chat what you think was going to be the outcome. We forgot to go over that at the beginning of the match. I'm curious, what's your take? I'm saying this is going 3-1 Utah Stingers.
My original pick, and I'm going to stay with it, was Utah winning in 5.
All
Why
right.
not? Team Freedom plays every match to 5
They
sets.
certainly do. It's probably a safer bet. And we're on the side of Matt Prosser, his take,
I'm going to take Freedom in 4.
he says Freedom in 4. He's a little bit of the black sheep over there, but I love the take. He believes in the boys in blue.
Well, one of us has to be a little different. It makes it exciting here. Pretty boring. We all took the exact same prediction. That is clipped off the ceiling. Of course, you could play it off the ceiling on your side of the net, which is what Utah does. Running that one down is Clark. Oh, and just punish cross-court Romero.
Well, that's certainly a much-needed point there for Romero, who was struggling to find positive influence on the match. Overall, in his point plus minus, he was at -4 prior to that kill. So he's got to keep working his way through, keep chiseling away. But Paul Clark doing a nice job in defense and transition there for Stingers.
They go back to Vaughn. Back set, tipped over. It's going to find the middle of the court. Mencia's third put away.
If you want to know why everyone talks about Leo Durkin being one of the best setters in the league, his hands in that play were doing something that was a little abnormal. I'm not even going to try to put it into words, but if you guys are watching on YouTube, go rewind it. Did a great job with that contact to set it backwards and not double. Well played by him and a great point for the Stingers, but that's going to be a missed serve there from Metcalf, ending that run. Down by 3, 15-18 now means Chris Vaughn back to jump serve for Team Freedom.
Chris Vaughn, product of one of the great East Coast programs, the Stevens Institute of Technology Ducks, where the only thing probably better than his volleyball was his education, one of the better schools in the country. They go outside, and that's blocked back. Reach out and stuff someone. Zebra and Elias.
Zebra, a member who's played on the Trinidad and Tobago national team. Someone that, represents one of those countries you don't hear as much about in the volleyball world, but a very explosive member of this team, and it has been for years.
And an ace as Vaughn unloads. Third ace for Team Freedom, and they have found a way to whittle this one down.
Well, there it is. You're seeing 3 aces so far. I mean, when you talk about expectation of service pressure, Team Freedom right now is really finding ways to challenge the Utah Stingers.
Now we see Vaughn, another tough serve. Good pass by Clark. And Langlois with the swing. They go outside. Castillo. Well, he handcuffs Langlois, and we are even at 18 all. So ever since Matt Prosser got on the mic, Team Freedom has begun to ring a little bit.
And we're going to see a timeout called here. It makes a lot of sense. A 3-point run like that this late in the game, you can't just let this slip away from you. A 4-point run is going to be bad news bears here for Utah Stingers. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
We are back here in San Bernardino, California. As we were coming back from break, Jorge Mencia gets a chance to swing quickly and puts away his 4th kill. And that is a much-needed side out for the Stingers. Found themselves in a little bit of a rut. 3 straight points for Team Freedom. Short serve. Running that down is Vaughn. Castillo swings down the line, and he's able to connect.
Wow, you get a great angle there to realize, Matt Elias going to his knees there, trying to make a good set. Pulls that one off the net, and it's 8 feet off. That is not an ideal in-system set, given a tough situation there for Elias, but Josh Castillo works with his feet, makes a great move, and gets a huge kill there.
So Zebra to serve. In the middle, sticking that one through is Shmelyov.
One-on-one block there. Seifert not on the same attack line. I think he was committed on a Jake Langlois Bick route. So Shmelyov going one-on-one there against Castillo. Not able to get the stop he was looking for.
So 2019 lead for the Stingers, trying to take this opening set. And the ball in the hands of the 6'5" Cuban of Novo Romero. Big serve. Better pass. Outside, a little too tight. And wow, what an adjustment there for Josh Castillo. Not only to even be able to get an attack on it, but got a touch out of Utah.
Yeah, certainly a great, one of those just forget everything you know about volleyball. Time to get physical, make a big move, jump as high as you can, and get a swipe. Well done by Castillo.
Clark, that's left a little short, covered by Shmelyov, and then Langlois down the line. Romero, a piece of that one, and Clark is going to send this one deep. Good spot by Clark. Elias to Seifert. Oh, bounces that one like a bad check.
You love to see the energy flooding in right now from Team Freedom. That's a huge kill that Seifert absolutely hammered. Great ball from him.
So Elias to serve, 21-20, Freedom in lead, but not for long as Langlois, just annihilates that one. That's how you answer the big guy.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. Watch his attack line. He goes up, finds that inside set from Durkin, and hammers that ball home. You've really got to be a disciplined blocker to recognize that one coming down early. Huge point for the Swarm.
Once you find a seam like that with Jake Langlois, it's over. In the middle, off the hands, off the net, unable to save it, and Seifert gets the result.
We're gonna talk real quick about what we call a stack. Look at how those three are lined up right there. When this serve gets ready, Norman, Vaughn, and Seifert are all going to be shoulder to shoulder screening the pass. That tells you that they're probably going after a Novo Romero as they are standing between the server and the serve receive of the Utah Stingers. They do that to block their server. Oh, there it is after Langlois.
Langlois able to recover, blocked back, covered by Utah. They go back to Langlois, and he tools the block. A triple goes up, and he's able to stick it off of the shorter blocker on the inside on the pin.
I think he got that off Joe Norman, actually. Right hand on the outside.
It was Norman.
Yeah, welcome to being in the seat with the camera in front of you.
Good pickup by you, Mr. England. But either way, that is a much-needed point there. Langlois continues to answer. Deep serve, and not missing by much were the Stingers. Aggressive there. Took something off of it, looked for the back corner, and just missed the spot.
Well, we're seeing the late game right now, or the late game run right now. Team Freedom +1 as Seifert goes back. He had a nice little run last time he was back there. See if he can go positive on this serve right now.
Seifert, the former Penn State star, to serve. That's over on one. Zebra destroys it. And look at that. Team Freedom out of nowhere has set point. And Utah is going to talk it over.
And with this much going on right now, we're going to stay live. We're not going to cut it away or anything like that. I want to call back to what I mentioned early on. Something that's really important here is the middle mismatch. Or not even a mismatch, but the matchup. You know, both these teams rely on their guys as a big part of their defensive schemes, getting block touches, but they're nowhere near as offensive as some other middles in the league. Zebra gets put in as a counterpart on the side of Team Freedom, opposite of Seifert, because he's a lot more of their offensive, big swinging middle. Seifert, a fantastic blocker. You get him right next to Joe Norman. You got the twin towers at 6'10" and 6'11". They're some big boys. But right now, we're seeing Team Freedom. Seifert gets the huge bounce, cut back. Zebra gets a kill right there on the overpass. That might be the X factor that really separates what is going to be such a close matchup here.
Yeah, no team in the league uses their middles as effectively as the OC Stunners. Of course, they did advance to the semifinals. The first semifinal tomorrow, they'll take on Southern Exposure. Team Freedom, Utah Stingers. One of these squads will play in the latter semifinal tomorrow. And we'll see how this middle combination for Team Freedom is able to counter the attack of Jake Langlois and company. Set point for Team Freedom. Langlois, Castillo got a bad touch on it, and we'll see if Utah can capitalize as Langlois will go back to serve. Second set point, however, coming up for Team Freedom.
Now these Mikasa VLW 200s, proud sponsor of the NVA, get a little slippery and slick at time, and we've been talking all day long about the heat, but that is certainly an instance right there. Josh Castillo, that ball went right through his hands because it just slipped. Tough spot. You know, Paul Clark receives that ball with his platform, and right there for the next 5-6 touches, you can guarantee that's going to be a wet volleyball. That's you've got to get your hands almost more behind it, paddling and deflecting, as opposed to expecting that you're going to have the time to receive that with open hands. It's one of those kind of experience things that as you play with the ball more and in conditions like this, you would expect to see. But, you know, Josh, you're a Jersey guy. There's quite a bit of humidity up there, right? Like
humidity, but I mean, when we were back in Jersey for the May event, it never got above 60 degrees.
Oh,
so
we're living worlds apart. It's been triple digits out here in my neck of the woods.
Well, it was 94 degrees in Jersey today, but when you guys were out there in May, you didn't get a good dose of what Memorial Day weekend typically is like in Jersey, where you don't get these temperatures, and, well, something you got to adjust to if you're Team Freedom. Trying to win the set, Norman off the hands of Langlois. Utah swinging away, and getting the answer with Mencia.
This is a little bit of a callback. Last time we saw Utah Stingers play Southern Exposure, on multiple occasions, Exposure at the end of the game had 4-point leads, and then we would see the Utah Stingers not only come back and win them, but do it repeatedly. So,
and Langlois misses short. If you're gonna miss here, you want to miss long and not short. Langlois gives it back here to Team Freedom. It'll be Norman to serve.
The big thing here, the difference, in my opinion, the way you beat Freedom, or the way you beat the Stingers, you have to serve aggressively early on. They kind of start slow, and I always talk about this, but they start a little bit slow out of the gates. They're more error prone, so you've got to get on them early. Try to take sets 1 and 2 if you're going to take them down.
And saved by Utah. Big chance here for Freedom. Vaughn, double block. Combo there of Metcalf and Mencia. What looked like it might have been an ace coming up for Norman ends up being a stuff and a side out, tied at 25.
And that's the experience. I always compare the Stingers to a bit of a boa constrictor. They slowly and slowly tighten their grip on the match. They remove your options. There's no way to score points once they get going. So you've got to take this win early if you're Team Freedom.
Zebra's blocked. And that is Shmelyov. Back-to-back stuffs for Utah. And the Stingers have set point for the first time.
And there it is, back-to-back blocks. Not only is it a tough beat, we always talk about ways of scoring points, in my opinion. And I'd love to be curious what our fans at home think, but I would make the argument that a block is by far the most influential point, not only because you earn one for your team, but you do it at the expense of a hitter on the other team. So it really brings you guys up and takes them right down.
Nothing, obviously I didn't play at any kind of level like you or my partner Matt, but even now, you know, even when you play in adult leagues in your 40s, nothing feels better than to put your hands over the net and stuff someone. It's like ripping their heart out and stomping on it.
Absolutely.
And that is what Utah has done here to Team Freedom, because they had a double set point and couldn't capitalize. And look at this. It's Utah going to serve here with a chance to steal the set back. And we're going to extra points. I wouldn't be surprised at all, Nick, to see similar sets like this throughout this match. These teams On court, on paper, yes, you would think the advantage goes to Utah with their experience, but Team Freedom, they may have more tenacity than any team in the league.
Certainly the case. They're a team you have to earn your points against, but right now, if I'm a betting man, I'm putting the balls going to D-ball to Joe Norman to see if he can be the answer.
They go to Vaughn, and he's able to get it off the chest of Metcalf. Not a great first pass there at all, but Elias did a solid job to not only avoid the net, but also get a platform pass that was usable for Vaughn there for the winner.
There's one of those common phrases in volleyball is called bettering the ball, and it wasn't a great first pass like you said, but Elias doesn't overdo it, finds a nice bump set and gives Vaughn a chance to play.
They go right side cross court and finding the line. Mencia, I believe by my rough math, that is his 6th kill of the set.
Said it earlier, he's not always one of the flashiest guys. You'll see Langlois bang a ball a lot harder, but Jorge Mencia is a steady operator. And that's what makes Leo Durkin so good, is he identifies the size mismatch there and takes complete advantage of it.
Running that down to Cunningham. Castillo with the swing, dug by Langlois. Chance for Utah to win it here, and they do. The kill by Inogo Romero, and Utah rallies to take the set, and they lead 1-0. We'll come back for game number 2, and we'll give you a little preview of what the bracket will look like from here on out when we return NVA Cup quarterfinal action.
OSIM.
The flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Hey, my name is Travis, and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year, we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
Over here with Coach Justin Beaumont from Team Freedom. Coach, you had a couple set points there in that first set, but it got away from you. What's your takeaway, and how do you think you're going to come back now in set number 2?
So I think
we always have to win the serve and pass, right? And I don't think we did that towards the end there. They just served a couple weird balls at us, and we got out of system. We got to run our middles in transition against this team, and we're not doing that too successfully yet. So I think once we start doing that, we're going to be okay.
Okay, how do you feel about your production from your outside hitters so far, especially Joe Norman and Chris Vaughn with his first action back after that ankle sprain in Atlantic City?
I think they're doing what they need to do offensively, but I'm focused more on the serve receive and the defense. I think, offensively, I know they can get it done. We want to focus on serve receive and defense.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Matt, for that interview with Justin and that insight. We have a bracket we'd like to show you as well, as this is our semifinals now. That's what's coming up tomorrow, folks. 3 o'clock will be game match number 1. It'll be the Southern Exposure taking on the OC Stunners, and then, of course, the winner of this match against the winner of our next one, which will be the Las Vegas Ramblers taking on the Ontario Matadors. Obviously, on paper, Las Vegas would be heavily favored. However, the Matadors have shown some surprises this year. They've beaten Team Freedom, for example, in 3 sets. So Las Vegas is going to have to come out and play their game to ensure there's no surprise. As we begin game number 2, and the service error on the swing by Romero gives it back to Team Freedom.
So far, Romero still, he had a clutch, great swing to end out set number 1, but still just some play riddled by errors, so something that Freedom might try to take advantage of. No changes on either side. Also worth noting, Jorge Mencia sneaking in 8 kills in that first set. By far the most impressive, and you talk about impressive, it's the size mismatch as Josh Castillo one-on-one against middle. Alex Shmelyov, number 24. Castillo is able to finally get that block touch he's been searching for all match long. Great point for Freedom.
Castillo gives up 6 inches to Shmelyov and still got the hands, and a 2-0 lead. Elias, tight set, and that is blocked back. You don't see Langlois get blocked too much, but he couldn't do much with that. Durkin wasn't given much to work with either. And then Seifert and Norman, that's child's play.
Also, I think that's the single largest in-the-net interaction you'll ever see in the NVA. Jake Langlois going up against Joe Norman and Matt Seifert. No one shorter than 6'10" right there.
That's crazy, and that is too long. Side out goes to Utah, so after a 3-0 lead, the Stingers will serve. And it'll be Shmelyov. And Barnall, Russia, played at Grand Canyon University.
Go Lopes.
Good serve, Castillo handles it. They go to Norman. Off balance, Shmelyov gets the pass, and then cross-court magic by Jorge Mencia, his 9th kill.
There he is again, and I always talk about Jorge Mencia's numbers because he is just such a smooth operator. He's not someone that's going to go up, and he's more than capable of bouncing a ball, but that physicality isn't there in the same way, and that's not how he uses his energy. But man, is he so effective.
Smooth operator. Sorry, I had to sing it. As that is put away by Seifert off of the block.
There it is. You hear Coach Justin Beaumont wanting to get his middles involved in transition, and we see Seif getting up early and attacking that double block from the Stingers.
I was going to say, we need NVA Cups. What's it called? Karaoke. I couldn't think of the darn term. Karaoke night.
Well, hey, if you missed me on that one, it's not you, it's me.
Norman, too deep. That's all what you did there, my friend.
Joe Norman puts a little backspin on that ball, and that's not the way you want that ball spinning as you're chasing that deep corner shot. Said it earlier, challenged Joe Norman. He's one of those guys that is just good enough to put Team Freedom on his back by himself.
And he has done that throughout the season. In fact,
of course.
The last event, the fact that they were even competitive with both outsides, actually 3 outsides out, because they didn't have Nugent, Vaughn, or Castillo, was because of Norman's production. Norman didn't play a lot earlier in the year, but he's got 80 points on the season, top 5 scorer in the NVA coming into the playoffs. Remember, they only play 9 regular season matches. The format is 3 events. You play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 9 total matches, so not a lot of opportunities to accumulate those points. So the fact he picked up 80 in limited action, not playing a full-time schedule for himself, pretty impressive how he's able to produce for Team Freedom. And obviously Langlois has played even far less than that, and he's second in the NVA in total points. As Norman did not get to touch too long, and Utah has tied it at 5-all.
Yeah, I believe the full top 5 breakdowns. You have Brandon Rattray in first, Giangrosso Luca from the Tyrants in second, Langlois in third, Ryan Mather from the Ramblers is fourth, and then you've got Joe Norman at number 5.
That is
a
tipped
net.
back.
Ooh, no net called against George there.
2 opportunities here. Freedom, third chance. Vaughn through the hands and tipped down. Good opportunity here for Utah. They can't capitalize. Little tip action back and forth. Who will finish this off? Running that down is Elias from the back row. Castillo misses long. So many opportunities for both of these teams, Nick, and ultimately it was an attack error that ended that long rally.
Man, they've got to clean some of that free ball defense up. There's a lot of tips going over the top. Off blockers got to be there and find a way to get that ball straight up. Otherwise, you're going to find Langlois cranking jumpsters for free at you, and that is not a fun position to be in, I got to tell you.
Yeah, Langlois unleashes the ace. First ace for Utah, and they, after being down 3-0, have scored 7 of the last 9 points. So Langlois, one of the great American players' success stories, of course, with his rise to prominence. And see if Utah can get a 2-0 lead here. And that will help. Metcalf, Mencia team up for the authority block straight down.
That's the third one. That duo is working well together. They are not leaving any holes. Third block for that duo. You'll love to see the contribution.
Oh, an ace! Langlois, you see the reaction. His second ace of this rotation. Team Freedom, no choice but to talk this one over.
I said it early on. This is one of those teams that as the Stingers warm up into the match, they are such a threat. They kind of just figure each other out, get back onto the court, get their get their boat feet underneath of them, and once they find the way that the tide is moving, they just start applying pressure. Whether it's bigger serves, it's better blocking, it's cleaner defense, everything starts to shore up just a little bit, and that is an absolutely stellar turnaround in the beginning of this second set for a 9-5 lead for the Utah Stingers.
And we see how big of a roadblock this is now for Team Freedom, not only trailing 9-5, but now having to make up a set after not being able to close out Utah in game number 1. See how they respond coming out of this timeout, and they don't have as deep of a bench this go around as they have in events past. Bez Arslani is probably the next option as a pin hitter. If anything, he might come in as a serving specialist if they need him. Doug Zema is the other option at middle. We'll see if Team Freedom makes any tweaks as this match goes on. They look to Vaughn. Vaughn will swing. He gets blocked back. Covered by Norman. They go back to Vaughn again. Same result. Third opportunity. Vaughn just has to change this one up. Durkin to Mencia. Off the hands. Mencia is just unstoppable right now, Nick.
He certainly is, and I understand the aggravation right now. I'm seeing it from Beaumont. George Mencia's netted now. I've got a pretty solid view. He's netted pretty confidently. 2 plays in a row, that's a tough break, and you love to see guys play through it, but man, when you're trying to get your feet underneath you, that feels real bad.
They go back to Vaughn again, and a solo stuff by Corey Metcalf.
The
Corey
swarm.
Metcalf, wow, 6'5", the Utah Valley native, just sticks that to the court. And we're gonna see a change here. Bez Arslani, who I just talked about, he's gonna come in, a different look for Chris Vaughn. And we'll see if, after Metcalf picks up his 5th block he's contributed to here in this point, in this match, if Bez can change the fortunes. It's 11-5. Norman, nothing on that one either. Joe Norman is ice cold right now.
Certainly is, and that's where the Utah Stingers get you. They've been here before. Almost all these guys out of BYU. A lot of guys playing on a variety of national teams. Their owner is former Olympian Russell Holmes. I mean, there is just experience from top to bottom. In the overtime, they've slowly added a couple key pieces. You see guys like, Paul Clark come in that may not have been a name that you know, and he slowly finds his way into making an impact on this roster. Number one, Paul Clark spent some time as a serving sub, now earning his first ever start as the libero for the Stingers. But you love to see their ability to recruit players and continue growing this promising team with a lot of prowess.
And you can put Russ Holmes on the court right now at age 39, and he still might be the best player out there. That's how good of a career he had. But now, retired in the ownership role, and his Stingers looking for back-to-back championships after winning the 2020 event that was COVID delayed back in November.
And there's Arslani coming in. You might have mentioned it, I missed it, but Arslani replacing Vaughn.
And Norman misses again. They're going to make another change here. It's almost as if I had a vision. It is Zema coming in for, well, actually he's not coming in the middle.
No, they don't have other options. So middle, Dr. Doug Zema coming in as a replacement right side for Joe Norman.
Interesting. Zema, who was a actual setter in high school, as Arslani with the blast.
That's your job. They talk about it at Team Freedom a lot. They have the mentality of next man up. And right now, with their deepest substitution pool having 3 setters, some of these guys are going to have to make some moves that they may not be used to or comfortable. But when your number gets called off the bench, time to come in, make an impact. So shout out to Arslani for doing just that.
Bez too deep on that jumper. And the lead is 15-7. Utah with a huge advantage here in game number 2 after stealing the first set 28-26. Of course, if you missed it, 2 set points in that one for Team Freedom. They couldn't close it out. Castillo with the roll, covered by Utah, and that is just authority there. Alex Shmelyov will take us to our technical timeout as he puts that one away. It's 16-7. Team Freedom looking for answers when we come back.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Team Freedom looking for some answers. They find themselves down 16-7. We're going to see another substitution, and it'll be Ryan Kenny, who got a lot of action in Atlantic City. The Cinnaminson, New Jersey native now in at setter. So 3 substitutions for Team Freedom, trying to see if they can get out of this rut. Down 9, not insurmountable, but it's a little bit of a volcano to try to climb. Blocked back, run down by Castillo, and Arslani too deep. Another attack error by Team Freedom, and it's a double-digit lead now for Utah, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough position to be in. Certainly not one I think many people predicted the way in which this would go down. So Team Freedom might be giving some of their guys a breather and see if they can just maybe make some magic happen coming back into the 3rd set.
And Team Freedom didn't even move for that one. An ace that is dropped in. As Jorge Mencia, the floater ace.
Man, that just feels like an absolute just nail in the coffin. When that kind of ball falls that easily, I think there's no mystery when you look at the physical kind of the stature of a lot of these Team Freedom guys. But when that ball's allowed to fall down, you've got problems beyond what's going on the court right there.
And the other thing with Team Freedom right now is you could tell looking at their, as Zebra does get the kill, but you can just look at their body language right now, Nick, and it's not positive.
Certainly not. And you see Storm Ngata Tufunga replacing Anovo Romero here as the other outside hitter.
Storm would be a starter on majority of the teams in this league and has seen quite a bit of action this year, but coming off the bench today. Oh, Shmelyov later as he puts that one away.
That's a heck of a pass from Langlois, airs that out nicely, 2 feet off the net. And Shmelyov there is perfectly in system for that quick 3-ball to him. Nice set by Durkin as well.
Yeah, Durkin showing why he is arguably the best setter in this entire NVA. And 11-point lead. Storm to serve. And he leaves it short, but right now it's just a matter of time for these Stingers. They're 6 away from a commanding 2-0 lead. We've seen already one reverse sweep today. As Chicago had a 2-0 lead, but Southern Exposure was able to battle back. As Langlois punches that one. Southern Exposure battled back from 2-0 down to win in 5, so it's doable. But is Utah too good of a team to pull that off against? Perhaps. Shmelyov to serve. Nearly drops that one, and that thing just took a late dive. Castillo gets the cross-court winner.
Shmelyov's had a solid contribution here today, some nice serves. And again, this is what's so hard about the Stingers is they've got so many people that you can easily talk about as fantastic contributors. And now you've got number 6, Phil Fuchs, coming in for Metcalf. But there are so many guys here that are just threats through and through. And the fact that we've seen Mencia, who's been playing professionally overseas since 2006, if I'm not mistaken, with his final season ending in 2019. Guys like that putting up double-digit kills are just a tough scene to overcome.
And somebody like Shmelyov, who is so unassuming, and maybe that's partially because of who he's playing with, you don't look at him as a guy that you have to go to as a primary weapon, but my God, can he punish you?
Certainly can. Like you said, played at GCU, Grand Canyon University, played a season or 2 overseas.
Durkin drops in the ace.
Shmelyov and I actually played together on a AA team back at USA Adult Nationals. It was Animal Style as a reference to the West Coast In and Out. Shout out to those boys some time ago.
Chris Vaughn comes back in here for Bez Arslani. 12-point lead. Off the tape, diving to keep it alive to Castillo. Kenny runs it down, and Cunningham's going to send it over. They go right side, cross court. Oh, it's going to come back on the dig by Zema. And then a double block. Seifert with a little help from Zema.
Man, Seifert felt like it was forever trying to get him back on the court, and he finally gets there, but he's able to help the team just side out pretty quickly, and now he's all of a sudden all but back off the court after the serving run.
You need Seifert going if you're going to have a chance here in the third set, down 2-0, which is where we're headed. Good serve by Seifert. They go back here. Oh, just the ability there to hang midair for Alex Langlois.
Jake Langlois.
What did I say? Jake, jeez Louise.
Just picking other names.
Yeah, well, to hang in midair, I lost my train of thought now.
He was up there for so long.
He was up there so long. We changed his name, but Jake was able to hang in midair there, and Nick, his arm, it was so well disguised that there is no blocker in this league that's going to be able to uncover that.
No, that's a tough one. That's where his experience
comes in. How do you read that? You don't.
You don't.
You don't.
You hope that defensively you're able to make a move to back it up, but that's, you know, that's just the nature of the beast.
Also, don't look at Alex Shmelyov when you're talking about Jake Langlois.
Also probably helpful.
Storm swings away, and Storm gets in on the action for the first time. So set point coming up here for Phil Fuchs. Fuchs has Defended by Cunningham. Zebra is going to get a swing to extend it. Good see Utah be able to get some of their bench in and get some of their starters a little bit of rest as well as we head to set 3. So
it's going to be a long, hot weekend. You don't want guys cramping up in the dog days of Saturday and Sunday. You know, more 5-set matches are incoming, I would say.
And that is long and a very frustrating game number 2. Will end at 25-13 for Team Freedom. And Utah Stingers need one more set to advance to the semifinals tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be back for game number 3 here in San Bernardino.
Meet Tom. Tom is the shipping manager for an e-commerce company specializing in unique, high-end home furnishing. Because these aren't your typical everyday pieces, Tom's often biting his nails every time a shipment leaves the warehouse. His discerning customers will notice every ding, dent, or scratch, which is why Tom trusts one company, RPM Expedite's dedicated network. RPM specializes in hard-to-handle freight that needs a reliable, damage-free shipping approach. RPM boasts 99.3% damage-free delivery. RPM also makes it easy for Tom to customize his shipments. With pricing options and for transparency and peace of mind, Tom can access RPM's online portal for booking, tracing, and tracking shipments. And of course, if he ever has questions or needs assistance, Tom can always access RPM's round-the-clock customer service. Call RPM Expedite today for your customized, hard-to-handle shipping solution, or visit us online at www.rpmexpediteusa.com.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
OSIM.
All right, guys, thanks. Back to action here. I'm honored to speak with former U.S. Olympian and Utah Stingers team owner Russell Holmes. Russ, what's your takeaway here with a nice 2-0 lead in this quarterfinal match right now?
Yeah, I think we got off to a slow start in the first set. It was a good battle. I think the difference in the second set obviously was a lot of service pressure from the end line. Our guys did a nice job of just keeping the ball on them and allowing our blocking and defense to kind of do their job, and obviously makes it a lot easier when we can put some pressure from the end line. So obviously same game plan going into this, just dial in and keep dialing in our serving and passing. So that our blocking defense can do their thing and our offense can be ran and Leo kind of do his thing from the center line.
So can you speak really quickly just about what's it like having Jake Langlois on your squad, the, I believe, second highest point ranking player in the NVA through the season? Extrapolate his impact on your team for us.
Yeah, I think his experience, just helps him be a leader on the team. He's allowed to, just kind of carry us in those kind of important situations like this weekend when kind of everything's on the line. And so, yeah, he just brings a lot of experience and an added level that, I think helps our team all around. So, it's guys like him and, Mencia and Innovo that have played at the international level that just bring that level of experience that in these important moments, I think, gives us a little bit of edge over teams that maybe don't have those type of personnel. So.
Okay, final question, Russ. You and I go back for way back, and your playing days have kind of not completely done, but do you miss being on the court right now? Because everyone thinks that you could still participate. How do you feel? You getting ready for a semifinal comeback, maybe?
Absolutely not. No, but as you said, I definitely miss it. Obviously, volleyball is a big part of my life. It's given me so much, but so grateful just to be involved in this way, to give back to the sport I love, create an opportunity for these guys in the next generation to play, at a higher level in our own country. And so it's just a privilege to be able to be a part of this. And I think in this capacity, kind of step back a little bit and just, provide an opportunity, like I said. So I love it.
Awesome stuff, Russ. Thank you very much. Back to the action, you guys.
Matt, thank you for that interview. What a great interview that was with Russ Holmes. There's no doubt in anybody's mind he could still play if he chose to, but there's a time when you realize that maybe it is time to step away and move into another role, and to be able to, in his quote-unquote retirement, make an impact on the growth of this league as an owner and as a respected voice for volleyball. So good for the NVA, so good for the sport of volleyball, and it's just great to hear his insights, Nick.
Oh, whoa. Swallowed some air there. Certainly is. And, Russ does more than just owning the team. Russ is one of the key figures that helps the direction of the league, working with several of the team owners as well as the rest of the NVA management and helping direct the league where we need to be going. And so, he really understands it, played on multiple international stages. He's played at the highest levels in the world, so no one knows it better than Russ Holmes, and what a great guy to have involved.
3-1 Team Freedom with the lead. Well, I'll make it 4. So Freedom has to get out to a quick start. We'll see a conversation here as Jake Langlois has a conversation with the head official, Henry Leung.
That was a weird one. I didn't really see what happened. Basically, Chris Vaughn went up. Durkin kind of put his hands up, but then the ball got tossed down into him. I don't know if there was a collision on net. There was a lot of stuff going on there, so we're going to just sum that up with a point for Team Freedom.
So the point goes to Freedom, 4-1. They're not only fighting for their freedom right now, they are fighting for their survival. 2-0 Utah with the lead, and the defending champions, as the camera nearly gets taken out on that missed serve. Defending champions looking to punch their ticket to tomorrow's second semifinal. Well, that would be a heck of a match, by the way, if it's Utah against Las Vegas.
Certainly would be a rematch to the semifinals last November, where the Utah Stingers knocked out the Ramblers before going on to take out the OC Stunners. But I want to throw a quick nod back to where we're at overall. So my kind of surprise here is the fact that Utah Stingers, and they won game 1, 28-26. Like, that was as close as it gets. Is a nail biter. Set 2, we see, Freedom fold a little bit. So right now, it's kind of a question of how are they going to respond here. And this morning, we already saw the reverse sweep of Southern Exposure against Untouchables.
That's sent over here. Chance for Freedom. Zebra collected by Durkin. And then swinging away, changing an arm direction again is Jake Langlois. Does that so well. Free ball opportunity. Zebra with a useful spot.
Oof, that's a lucky break there, but sometimes that's what it's all about, and that's what Team Freedom needs to be able to use to fire their team up just a bit. Sometimes it's not going to be the big kills that you're going to find, but it's going to be the scrap. It's going to be those little plays that you chisel away. So Challenge needs to be using that to drive the energy, fire the team back up, and get them back involved. A 3-point lead is a great spot to start in.
Deep serve by Seifert Storm, who remains in the match with the serve, and then that's just crushed by Mencia. Makes it look easy.
Mencia continuing to have a stellar showing right now for the side of the Stingers.
6'6" Puerto Rican is probably been the most overall productive player on the court, even with Jake Langlois out there. Right side, Norman looking to ignite, and he finally does.
Oh, looks like either a cramp or something. Not. Yep, there's a cramp from Matt Elias, so give him a second to stretch that one out, because that does not feel good.
You could tell the second he bent his toe back that it was a cramp and nothing else. And on a day where it's 102 degrees, yeah, it's a dry heat, but ain't that dry, Nick.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You got to make sure you're staying hydrated. And if they need him out for a point or two, if he's, yep, there it goes, round number 2.
Oh, no.
If you've ever cramped from playing some sports, you know what this looks like until you, you know, quick tips. A, bananas help. It's all about that potassium. But if you ever want the quick fix, pack of soy sauce. Quick injection of all the salt.
Soy sauce?
Yep.
Interesting.
Helps out. It's
I'm
one of
gonna
those.
have to keep those in my bag at the beach.
It's a little, take a little bit of the Chinese food.
The worst thing is when it happens on the beach because you're so far away from where you're trying to get off the court. A little birdie in my ear says a little adult beverage could help, but I'm not so sure if that is the proper way to hydrate.
Yeah, unsure if that's just a personal preference from our previous beach pro and All-American Matt Prosser, or if that's an actual, you know, if there's some science. But he made sure to clarify ice cold. So, you know, it's just one of those things that's hard to tell. Now, one thing I do want to make a quick nod back as Ryan Kinney comes in to replace Matt Elias. The team, Team Freedom has gone back to their entire starting lineup. And I know that we're 9 points in here, but Joe Norman back on the court, Chris Vaughn back on the court. Cunningham is still wearing that white, so they've returned.
You knew that was going to happen. I mean, it was a smart move. You're out of that point in the set. It's insurmountable, at least in the eyes of Coach Beaumont and Coach Edra. Rest the guys on we're talking about how hot it is in here. There's no need there to waste extra energy, right, in a set that's unwinnable. And so far it's working for Team Freedom. They do have a 2-point lead, but without Elias out there, you know, and no disrespect to Ryan Kennedy because he's a great setter, but Elias is, you know, one of the better setters in the entire league. Not having him out there, we'll see how that hurts. Chance here for Utah. Back row, Langlois, it's coming our way.
Good pull-up by Ryan Kinney. This LED board in front of us has claimed many an injury, so got to be careful. But Norman not able to corral that ball after John Cunningham made a fantastic read to cover up the blocked dump attempt. Cunningham, a guy that had played outside hitter in college at Kane University, now has moved to libero and spent the majority of his time playing for Team Freedom wearing the off-color jersey. So definitely one of those experienced guys that they rely on.
Same hometown as Ryan Kenny down there in South Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia. It's Cinnaminson. And as they dry up a very wet court here in San Bernardino, we'll see the serving of Corey Metcalf. Metcalf goes after Castillo. Vaughn will swing away. Dug up by Metcalf in the middle. A little change of direction there. Sneaky Alex Shmelyov.
He's hammered a couple balls home, and that one he finds a nice tip over the top. Cunningham not quite able to get that first step that he needed. No pancake dig. And instead, this time we're getting Lake Cunningham. We're going to form the Great Lakes from NVA. Mercado, you know, I forget who it was in the last one.
Oh, it was the other middle for Texas is Lovett.
Oh,
Lake Lovett.
Lake Lovett,
Lake
yep.
Lovett was pretty deep. Boats would have a great time on that one. That is sent over. What a save there by Freedom. Storm finds a way to get it to fall. And with Elias out of the match, Utah has scored 4 in a row.
Joe Norman laying out pretty nice, gets a great touch to bring that one back, but unable to be corralled over. Right now, Stinger's on a run that's got to be put to an end. What felt like a good start and maybe a nice resurgence here in the third set is quickly being stifled by the Stingers.
And Zebra drops it down. Mikhail Hoyt gets the winner. That's a much-needed side out for Team Freedom. Still no sign of Elias as he is face down on the trainer's table trying to work out that cramp. And we've all been there. It sucks. It's one of those things that you just have to hope you can get hydrated quickly. Coming over on one, Zebra says not coming back again. Back to back for Hoyt.
There's that offensive prowess we talked about earlier. You know, that's kind of his role as a middle blocker here. If he's able to get some big swings like that, you love to see it.
Vaughn with the deep serve. They go to Storm. That is blocked back, running, saved there by Clark so it doesn't fall in. Dug up by Norman. They go back row, pick Vaughn, and a big dig for Durkin. Utah here, 4th try. Storm swinging away, and the clouds roll in.
That is just such a powerful swing. Storm has he puts so much behind the ball that if you're not ready to take that with your body behind it, it is so hard to stop.
Well, Storm is the reason there's no Chris Nugent here. We're talking about Tropical Storm Elsa, and haven't had a lot of production out of their pins today in his absence. See if Team Freedom's able to get an answer, as they do get the side out. 9-8, they lead again, and it'll be Mikel Hoyt, Zebra, to serve.
Had a nice rotation there for Zebra, doing a great job, getting a couple kills, couple blocks. That's what you want to see from your middles contributing. Nice 1-point lead reestablished here for Freedom.
They go back to Storm, off the hands. Castillo's gonna swing away.
On 2, huge kill outside for Josh Castillo. Joe Norman sees the tip come over the top, lays it out. Makes you ask the question, if a tree falls in the wood and no one is around to hear it, does a bump set to the outside get put over on 2?
I think you have to there. Why not try something different? And Castillo was a perfect bump set. Yeah, you don't get a full approach there, but when you can jump that high, there's no need. They go back row. Oh, Langlois utter destruction.
We talked earlier about the offensive prowess of Corey Chavers from the OC Stunners, hitting some bics. Gianluca Grasso from the Tyrants. Well, man, Jake Langlois does it with the best. Huge swing for number 10.
Served by Storm, and that's going to go over on 1. Then sent back on 2. Run down by Cunningham. Castillo swings away again, and he misses this time. And we're even at 10 all.
You can see that sweaty ball right there going through the hands of Kenny. Loses it, but still gets it to hit the top of the tape and stay alive.
Even at 10, Storm serves again, too deep. As Norman at 6'10", it's not easy to get out of the way of those.
Man, this match is making me bummed to see that Team Freedom had a very rough set number 2, because the pressure's on them not only to get a win here, but they're going to have to try for a full reverse sweep 5 sets. So, you know, they just put themselves in a tough spot there with that kind of lapse mentally, but they're competing right now. We'll see if they're able to keep battling it out.
They go back row, Mencia, another winner.
Shout out to Blair Lambert in the chat. Always knows his stuff. One of the top volleyball writers in the scene. I think you're dead on there. Rattray is another one of those guys that can compete, and it comes from guys that have seen some of the biggest international courts. So keep an eye on that in the next match as well.
Seifert got a good swing. Utah covers it. Here's Vaughn with the pass. They go back to Seifert. And miscommunication there will fall in, and a big break for the Stingers as they take the 1-point lead. And man, if you're Matt Elias right now, not being able to be out there and contribute to your team has got to be super frustrating. Here is Alex Shmelyov, and he leaves it short. So we're even now at 12 apiece. So Josh Castillo, responsible for 6 kills so far in his starting role. See if he can get something going from the service line. And that is left short. Well, Russ Holmes talked about it in his interview with Matt Prosser, just how important it is to be able to win a match on this stage, to apply pressure from behind the service line. And, you know, Utah did a great job in that second set of doing it. Both teams were a little more quiet here in the third. Seifert, that's not going to fall because Clark was there for the dig. And then cross court, missing just wide, Mencia.
Wow, uncharacteristic miss so far. Mencia, who's been lights out and nigh unstoppable. just missing the court wide in a way that everyone held their breath a bit, hoping that one was going to keep going. 13 apiece now, Seifert.
Seifert off the tape, and it's going to go wide. Well, he tried to change it up a little bit and did not work out in his favor. And now, as it's 14-13 Utah, we see Jake Langlois look up at the scoreboard and see what he can do behind the line. They go back to Norman. Oh, Norman buries it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what gets Joe Norman going. You talk sometimes these oppos love that quick tempo, getting back there. Norman, with his height, his size, his perfect set is one that gets all the way over his head. Keep it high. Don't worry about the tempo. Let him hit into 3 blockers, but get that ball high above his head. That's where Joe Norman is at his very best.
It's 14 all, and Norman the serve. Langlois. That's covered by Freedom and sent over by Kenny. So he sends it deep. Clark had to retreat. And Mencia with the tight set, still able to convert.
There's the kill I was talking about. Just smooth operator. No mistakes there. And he gets it back after a swing just goes wide previously.
See a substitution here for the first time to serve. We'll see Chandler Baugh. Baugh out of Gilbert, Arizona.
Normally one of the liberos dressed in blue alongside of Kai Duquem. So serving sub, as I think it's his debut as a serving sub for the Stingers.
That was blocked back. Castillo back bump, and that was not on the court.
That's just, you can't do that. I don't know. I wish I had a more elegant way. That's just untimely. That's not excusable.
It's a poor timed error there for Team Freedom, and that will take us to our tactical timeout. 16-14 Utah leads, and they're up 2-0 when we come back.
The flow state. The trailblazer. The closer. The do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Back here from timeout, and before we go any further, I have to wish a happy 21st anniversary to my wife, Catherine, who was kind enough, the angel in our family, allowing me to come cross-country to be with you for this NVA Cup quarterfinal action, semifinals tomorrow, championship on Sunday. So, well, happy 21st birthday to my anniversary. It's my birthday, because that was the biggest prize I've ever gotten.
Hey, there it is. Glad that we were able to get you out here. Big part of the team and a nice addition.
I just got a text from her. She said, keep me. I don't know what that means.
I think it means she's saying, you know, you made that commitment and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I think she's telling you guys to keep me.
Oh, that's even better.
Now Utah trying to keep this lead, but a side out here for Team Freedom, 16-15. And we'll see Vaughn back to serve. Elias is sitting up now on the table, so that hopefully is a promising sign to see if he's able to come back in. But it is 8 p.m. I'm sorry, on the East Coast right now. The next match, the final match, will start at about 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. That came over. That was off of foot. And what is happening here is the officials are saying no. The entire Team Freedom bench in one motion came up. So it wasn't like one player saw that. Everybody saw it off the foot.
I couldn't see it at all, because that is straight through the LED board in front of us. What I can say is, while this is getting resolved, a little interesting nod here. When I look back into the way that 2020 finished, again, it was one 4-day weekend that we call our COVID season. So Southern Exposure had the worst record, finishing in dead last, and they've made it through. And besides them, we've seen, according to standings, the Stunners get an upset this morning. Stingers, based on standings again, about to potentially get an upset here. And that's two of the, they were the finalists from last year. And then if Las Vegas Ramblers hold their seed against the Ontario Matadors, we're going to see the top 3 teams from last November all returning to the exact place that they were last November, joined by none other than dead last. So props to Southern Exposure finding their way through.
Southern Exposure, you saw the energy they brought in the last event, a team that came out with a different attitude, and sometimes it makes all the difference. They have the talent, no doubt. Probably have one of the finest liberos in the entire league, as that last set by Team Freedom gave them no options. A point went to Utah. They now have scored 2 in a row and have built an 18-15 lead, as the Stingers, they're starting to pull away here late in the 3rd game. Team Freedom's time here in the quarterfinals looking short.
Interesting note, you see Chandler Baugh, who went in as a serving sub, is actually being held back row here. So he's going to get to play all the way through, give him a chance to see some court time. And Paul Clark is being held off. And you saw a huge dig there from Chandler last rally. That's exactly where it all stems from, a very experienced player. But at a 3-point lead at 18-15, we have a timeout called by Team Freedom. So we'll be right back.
Back here courtside, Ira Thor, joined by my partner Nick England, who will be on the sidelines coaching in our final match. And of course, Matt Prosser on the sidelines. Utah up by 3. That's going to fall in front of Langlois, even at 6'10" and his long length. Unable to pick that one up. And this is pretty much the last stand here for Team Freedom. Down 2. And we'll see Zebra serving, see if there's any life left in this Freedom squad. That
score says there is always a way back into this one, down by just 2. So
hey, they started the year 5-0. It looks so promising for Freedom, but stuff like that will not help. Alex Shmelyov puts it away, his 6th kill.
Having a great match thus far, and you said it, you know, Team Freedom, 5 matches to start the season. They were one of the undefeated teams at 5-0 and have been on a 4-match losing streak. So
it's starting to look like it may be 5 in a row. Storm leaves that one short, gives Freedom a little hope late here in the 3rd set. If you tuned in late, Team Freedom had 2 set points in the first game, couldn't pull it out, lost 28-26, and then it was all Utah in the 2nd set. They lead 19-17. Storm sends it deep, useful spot, and Kenny had to swat at it. He did not know that Vaughn was behind him, and it'll fall in. And Utah with a very smart, high volleyball IQ type play there.
3-point lead now. Shmelyov back, looking to extend yet another serving run. He's been putting so much pressure. It's incredible to me how much the team, you know, they keep Storm Fatengata Tufunga on the court,
and that just missed.
Just missed. But even with Storm staying in for a Noble, this Stingers lineup hasn't missed a beat.
So it'll be Castillo. His team running out of time. Storm with the pass. Durkin, great set, but left it short for Storm coming through, and that allows Team Freedom to get a much-needed kill. Seifert hasn't been that active in the last couple sets, but gets a swing there, and Deficit is 2 now. Correction, 1. It's 20-19 on that kill. So Castillo quickly peeks up at the scoreboard, knows his team needs a big serve now. And he misses just long.
If that was an 8, if he got that ace, that could have been really a huge momentum swing. But now down by 2.
Patrick Bradley, the down official, tells Team Freedom it's out by just that much. Shows it with his hands. 21-19, Durkin, your server. Steele with the pass. They go back to Norman, and he tools the block. Keep Freedom alive.
Man, they're fighting right now. I just want to see their energy match what their play is doing. We've seen some big surges from Seifert in the middle. A nice kill there. A nice kill there on the right side. Just got to make it happen.
Well, you knew Team Freedom wasn't going to roll over and just die, but Utah, they might just have too much talent on this day. We'll find out. Storm out of the back with the Bic and the blast. 22-20.
There's a tongue twister. Say that one 4 times fast.
Put that on a t-shirt.
2-point lead, 22-20.
So here's Jake Langlois. Not a great pass. Can Norman do anything with it? No, he leaves it short. Now, getting close to the finish line for the Utah Stingers. So Team Freedom's going to call a timeout. This is their last chance. They got to come out of this timeout with some energy, or their time here in San Bernardino is going to end in 3. And a team that has been a 5-set warrior all year, that would be quite a disappointment if your season ends in 3 in the playoffs. So many weapons Utah's had in this one. Obviously, everybody knows the impact that Jake Langlois and Leo Durkin have. Jorge Mencia has been fantastic, though, in this one, Nick.
Hitting almost 60%, 13 kills of 22 attempts as of our last update, and that was before the third, or that was at 16-14. That was at the split, so he's contributed more even since then.
Langlois serving up 3. That's out by about a foot. As the deep float doesn't convert. This is do or die time right here for Norman, who helped lead SUNY New Paltz to the 2016 Division III National Championship. They've won at least one more since then.
And he is someone that he almost, in the Ramblers match last event, he put back-to-back aces at this similar point in the match. Someone that puts a lot of pressure. See if he's the guy for the job right now.
Well disguised set there by Durkin, and another kill by Mencia, and the Stingers have 3 match points.
Metcalf now the final potential server unless we see a little late game run. Oh,
and
nope.
Hamilton Day was going to come in, and then he's forbidden. And then he dances back and comes back to the bench.
It's one of those unique things that, you know, you can't just call for a substitution. You must be in a certain zone to be recognized as a substitution option or something along those lines, I do believe. So, deemed not eligible for a substitution. Metcalf will serve.
Kenny goes to Vaughn, and that's going to go into the net. So credit the kill to Vaughn. And for the moment at least, Team Freedom stays off elimination.
Tough ball there. If Durkin's front row, he can go up and you know, send that one over. But in the back row, all he can do is hope for a friendly bounce off the tape unless Jorge Mencia helps him out.
Down 2 now, Vaughn to serve. And put away by Shmelyov, and that is that. As the Stingers send Team Freedom packing, they eliminate Team Freedom here in the quarterfinals, and the defending champion Utah Stingers move on to tomorrow's second semifinal, when they will take on the winner of Las Vegas and Ontario, as they are victorious 28-26, 25-13, and 25-22, a 3-0 victory. I think that was unexpected by everyone on both sides.
Yeah, and our writer for the NVA actually called that one of our staff writers. We put out a ton of articles on NVAUSA.com for all of the teams. They're coming out regularly, multiple every week. One of our staff writers that covered the predictions for how this was all going to go. Seems like he's been pretty dead on so far. Of course, the on-air broadcast team, we've been making our predictions for the heck of it and see how right we are. But a quick little 3-0 win, getting the final stats coming our way right now. And that was certainly an impressive win. And, it's one of those days that you're so excited to see some of these teams going on to the next step. But once again, unfortunately, that means it's the end for Team Freedom here, as they're going to be out here just with a weekend full of watching some more volleyball should they so choose. But that means the Utah Stingers have at least 2 more matches, one tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time after that first match from the top half, which will be Southern Exposure versus the OC Stunners. Like you said, they'll be playing against the winners of the Las Vegas Ramblers, Ontario Matadors. So one more match, and man, we are looking like we're about to have a repeat of last November's playoff bracket with the only adjustment, Team Freedom replaced by Southern Exposure. So
well, Team Freedom, it's they shot themselves in the foot at the end of the season, not being able to pick up one more win, and they would have been in that morning match today against Chicago, a team that they know very well.
Yep.
It was Southern Exposure who got it done at the end of the year, and that put Team Freedom in a matchup today against a Utah Stinger squad that just lineup-wise, experience-wise, might be the best overall team in the NVA. Strong argument for that.
Yeah, and that's what's really interesting when you look across the board is the OC Stunners have guys, every single guy on their starting lineup plays professionally overseas or has in very recent time. This team, you've got guys with over a decade of experience playing professionally. They've played on national teams, things like that. So, there is certainly a pedigree that puts them a step above the rest. And that's, it speaks to what the teams have put together. So there is a lot of volleyball that's going to be played at a high level, and a guaranteed 2 more matches now for the Utah Stingers, regardless of the outcome tomorrow.
And speaking about guys who know about playing at a high level, here is Matt Prosser on the sideline with our man of the match, Jorge Mencia.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, Jorge Mencia, congratulations on the 3-0 sweep over the Team Freedom. How you feeling after that match?
We feel great, man. Feel great. Thank you. I think this is the semi-final. We have to give everything. Thank God we got the win, the W. So we feel great.
You guys faced a couple of set points in set number 1 right there, but you were able to fight it off, win that set, and eventually win in 3. Kind of what was going through your team's mind there when you were down a couple of set points and early on in this match?
Yeah, we always start a little slow. We don't practice together, so we start to get together between the game. So we start slow, then we finish strong. We have confidence, we have great team, everyone pushing the same way, so that's why we had the W.
So you guys are defending champions after winning in Utah last November. How much does that weigh on your guys' kind of strategy and path through the rest of this weekend now?
That means a lot, We have to keep going, we have to keep pushing, nobody will give anything to us. We have to, empty the tank, go with everything.
It looks like it based on how much you're sweating. It's hot in here, right? Right?
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. If we have water, we can keep going. But it's hot, man. It's hot.
So will you stay and watch the next match? You guys will play the winner of the next match tomorrow in the second semifinal. You've got Las Vegas Ramblers going up against, blanking on who it is, but will you stay? Ontario Matador, sorry.
Yeah, sure. We're going to stay here. We have to see again who we go tomorrow. I told you this is a semifinal. There's no chance. We have to be focused in what we're going to do, So whatever is tomorrow, we're going to give 200% for sure.
Awesome. Jorge, thank you very much for the time. Congratulations on the victory, the man of the match. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Matt, with our man of the match, Jorge Mencia. And I tell you what, when you have a weapon like that to take a little bit of pressure off of Jake Langlois and Leo Durkin and so many of the other weapons, Storm didn't even get into the match until midway through. We know how dangerous he is. This Utah Stinger squad is going to be an extremely tough out. And I'd say, no, you got some work to do coming up in our last match of the day. And Las Vegas Ramblers are going to be a tough out. But talk about a potential dream matchup. I don't want to put the horse before the cart there. But I'll tell you what, I don't see any reason, at least on paper, that Las Vegas doesn't pull through in that one and sets up a dream semifinal.
You know, as the guy that's going to be coaching them, I hope to share your same optimism. But at the end of the day, Ontario Matadors are a fantastic team. They're not anyone to be taken lightly. They've got some experience, some great defense, and they're going to rally. So
you can't take anybody lightly on this stage, but Las Vegas has been consistent throughout the season. That match will be coming up next. And we have seen today that the USTOT Stingers, when they are at full strength and they have all their horses, they're going to be a tough out, folks. We'll have to see how they do tomorrow. Of course, they'll be playing in the second semifinal. Be back with us at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern time, when we see two Western Coast teams, the Las Vegas Ramblers, the Ontario Matadors. My partner will be on the sideline. We'll see how much perspiration he has just standing there, not even playing.
Nope, just yelling at my guys.
Just yelling at your guys. But one more match to go here on quarterfinal day here in the NVA Cup. It was a big one early on, but Team Freedom, after a big lead in the late stages of the first set, couldn't pull it out, and then it was all Utah from there. As the Stingers, the defending champions, win the second and third set as well. They knock out Team Freedom 3-0 as they are victorious here today. For my partner, Matt Prosser, and Nick England, I'm Ira Thor. Be back with us for the fourth quarterfinal. We'll see if Las Vegas is able to advance or if the Ontario Matadors have an upset in the making. Be well, everybody.